It's time for Real Talk with Brian and Dan, the weekly talk radio show dedicated to discussing important real estate topics, plus insight into the local community. With a combined experience of over 50 years as local real estate brokers from the Eastside Real Estate Team at Keller Williams Realty Bellevue. Here's your hosts, Brian Levitt and Dan Edwards.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW. It is Wednesday, December 4th, 2019, and I don't want to freak anybody out, but you have 20 shopping days left, folks, until Christmas.
Days.
Yeah, and if you're a Hanukkah, it's even less. Anyhow, I'm not sure how many days, but it's a few days before. We thank everybody listening to us on 1150 KKNW and watching live stream on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. If you're ever interested in listening to past podcast/radio shows, you can find them on Apple Podcast or Google Podcast. Or even go to the Eastside Real Estate Team and you'll find a whole catalog of topics and some of our favorite businesses as well. Again, thanks for joining us. I'm so excited to welcome today. We have Dan Gelhaye of Insurance Services Network and Pia Larson with Fingerprint Marketing. But of course, before we get to our guests, we always start out with some Real Talk. So today's Real Talk segment is about the true cost of not owning your home. Isn't that an interesting way to put it? The cost of not owning a home. And two myths that are holding buyers back. Why is owning a home more financially positive? Why is it better than renting? So what's one of the first things that a homeowner can or a individual
Why
can
is it better?
consider? Yeah.
It provides a tax savings. I mean, that's a huge one. Is one of the times in calculating what people qualify for, we call it buy a house, give yourself a raise.
Yeah.
Because if you go from a job that you have no tax deduction, I shouldn't say a job. We decrease the withholding. I'll get it right here. Decrease the withholding, thereby increasing the cash flow, which helps with home affordability.
Right. So most renters may not know this, but almost all, depending on your tax bracket of your
it
interest. Right. Yeah. I talked to our friend Mike Market, CPA.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Mike. It depends, but your interest on your mortgage is a tax deduction.
Right.
Right. So if you're paying $1,800 in rent, $0 of that is a tax deduction.
Right. And when you're paying rent, you're paying a mortgage, just not yours.
Right.
So
that's right.
That's right.
But there are limitations, right? Depending on your income bracket, your interest is tax deductible up to a certain point.
That's right.
So I don't want to just throw that. But most individuals can benefit from that. And, I don't know. When I was younger, I used to get really excited about getting a tax return back from the IRS.
Right.
Until I realized that I don't make any interest on that money that's sitting in their bank.
Right.
So, if you're paying a lot of money and getting a huge tax return, maybe that's good because it's a way to save money for a trip in the spring or something like that. But the interesting part about that is if you change how many allowable deductions you have, that increases your cash flow. Less is going to the IRS to sit in the bank before it comes back. So it's just kind of an interesting way to see the tax savings work for you. Another one, home ownership, it allows you to lock in monthly housing costs. How does that work, Brian?
Well, when you're a renter, the landlord can change that rent based on basically market demand. And there are some rules that limit in some jurisdictions. How much you can. But you're not in control. You're living in somebody else's house, and so.
Well, the interesting part is, on a monthly or yearly basis, anytime that lease is recast, I find it very rare that the landlords don't raise the rent.
Right. It's interesting as a landlord. There's times when I've had great tenants and I've not increased rents. When we finally do, they get upset. And it's like, I'm sorry, you're giving you a break. Yeah. So often my wife and I will do even a very, very minor bump just so they know that it's not fixed. But one thing about if you buy with a fixed rate mortgage, your mortgage never changes.
Right.
Your taxes and insurance could change, but those tend to be incremental. And so it's typically affordable. It's not a big bump like you might see with rent.
So if you could imagine 30 years ago, if you locked in your rent, right 30 years ago, how awesome that would be. And that's kind of the concept with locking in your mortgage because it is a 30-year mortgage.
Right. So next, buying a home is less expensive than renting.
How does that work? I see that's
well, I look at rents in our marketplace.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times I can find a home for one of our buyers that they're going to be paying less once you factor in tax deductible, the tax deduction factor and everything. They're paying less than they'd actually pay for equivalent rents on a
especially
home or apartment.
in the downtown Bellevue area.
Right.
You're not getting a house to rent for $3,500 if you're lucky, right? I mean, in that area. So you gotta figure out there's going to be a commute issue there, right? Because you're not going to also live in downtown Bellevue for a $3,500 mortgage either.
That's right.
Number 4, no other investment. I like this one. You can invest in gold, but guess what? You can't live inside it. Right. So that's the part that I think Brian and I sell the most when we talk about selling houses. Is we sell the home ownership part, the memories.
What I tell people is the only time not to buy is if you're just not ready to put down roots. But if you know that you're putting roots down and you're going to stick around, buying the home just makes sense.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, the fact that you could buy for less than you can rent, the pride of ownership, that you don't have to call and ask permission if you want to paint a room.
Yep. If you want to take a wall down.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends
yours.
on if it's a load-bearing wall. I would always get the right advice. But.
Yep. So item 5, home ownership is a form of forced savings. My oldest son is very analytical. He's a brilliant guy. And he called me one day with a big question about picking the right stock versus putting the money into a home. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, that's the key. If you know how to pick the right stock, buy Amazon on day one,
right.
But what's the odds of that? Whereas a home creates a monthly savings plan. And the data is that, isn't it 45% more higher assets for a homeowner than a renter?
45 times.
45 times greater assets.
Yeah.
So it becomes a forced savings program that you get to live in.
So on the first question, we talked about a portion of that monthly payment is interest. Well, a portion of that is principal. That is actually you putting money in the bank.
But here's the other thing. In a market like we're in where homes appreciate, you're getting appreciation on the entire value of the asset, not your down payment.
Right.
If you put 20% in, you don't get growth on 20%. You get growth on 100%. So you're leveraging other people's money, and that's a big deal in real estate ownership.
So I'll sum it up with this. I know that a lot of buyers, a lot of renters, they're held back by 2 myths. And the 2 myths are that you need 20% down payment or you need a 780 FICO score or higher. Well, we know that's not true. We've been helping clients get into homes. And during our mortgage moment, which is coming up shortly, we will address these 2 concerns.
Yep. So that concludes our Real Talk for today. If you're interested in this and other topics we've covered in our Real Talk segment, please check out our blog at theeastsiderealestateteam.com/blog. If you'd like to talk with us directly, we welcome your calls anytime. Feel free to call us at 425-200-4093. Thanks for listening. Up next, we'll be speaking with our lender for our Mortgage Moment segment. Stay tuned after the commercial break. Hear more about the market from Aram Matvosov, sorry, Aram, an experienced loan officer with Movement Mortgage. We'll be right back.
Not sure if now is the right time to sell? Worried you missed the market? The Eastside Real Estate Team specializes in helping homeowners maximize their equity when selling. With our proven premier listing service, our clients have sold their homes for more money in less time than the competition. We know you have many choices when working with a real estate agent, but with the Eastside Real Estate Team, you get a team of highly qualified, experienced agents. From staging to deciding if your property is market ready for top dollar. If you're considering selling, call the Eastside Real Estate Team at 425-200-4093. Or check out our website at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Confused about your home insurance coverage? Frustrated with rising premiums? Wondering why your insurance agent never communicates with you? Dan Gelhaye with Insurance Services Network helps Washington families just like yours demystify and simplify the whole insurance process from start to finish. He works hard to tailor-make a comprehensive package based on your needs and your budget. Dan does not work for any one insurance company, but rather partners with a number of preferred, financially strong companies. This means he works for you and not the insurance carrier. Dan truly did lower all my rates and got me more coverage, and he's one of the nicest, well-mannered people on the planet, says Josie in Seattle. Dan Gelhaye with Insurance Services Network. For a no-obligation insurance review, contact him today at 425-641-6334. That's 425-641-6334. Fingerprint Marketing creates and spreads an online presence for small businesses so they stand out as the choice and not just another choice in this highly competitive digital world. Fingerprint Marketing designs and maintains websites and digital marketing that your competitors want when they grow up. For more information, visit their website at fingerprintmarketing.com. That's fingerprintmarketing.com, or contact them at 425-283-3943.
Find our app in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and take us with you wherever you go. Alternative Talk AM 1150.
Welcome back to the show. You're listening to Real Talk with Brian and Dan.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan. It's now time for our Mortgage Moment segment. During this segment, we like to talk about new conforming loan limits. And today we have Aram Mastovov, again, an experienced loan officer with Movement Mortgage. Welcome back to the show, Aram.
Hello. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Brian, for having me.
Hey,
hello, everybody.
Glad you're here. Hey, Aram, when it comes to mortgages, there are different rates depending on many factors. And one of those factors has to do with the loan amount. Can you briefly break out the different loan types and maximum loan amounts?
Yes. There are what we call conforming loans, and which right now the cap has increased, and I'm going to go into it a little bit. And there's a high balance conforming, and those are two different types of loans, and their interest rate may vary based on what you qualify for.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Now, I understand there's some new loan limits coming up. What are they, and when will they be in effect?
So Fannie and Freddie recently announced that they will be increasing loan limits for conforming loans from $484,350 to $510,400.
Wow.
And because we live in a high-cost area, which is Snohomish, King, and Pierce, those loan limits will go from $726,550 to $760 to $525.
So what's the high balance is which again?
That is correct. Yeah. The upper limit will be the high balance, which means you avoid jumbo programs, and you can do 5% down to get those loans.
That's great.
That is great.
So does this apply to VA and FHA loans as well?
So FHA will follow immediately. Usually it takes them a month or less to mimic what Fannie and Freddie do. VA can take a little longer, and most likely they will do it in January. And another thing that VA does right now, they're going to erase the down payment requirement, which was passed in the summer as a law for veterans. Currently, veterans have to bring 25% down of the difference between the sales price and the loan limit conforming area, let's say, or high balance conforming. In January, it's going to go away, but we do not have clear guidelines from VA yet.
So tell me one more time, just so I can get this stuck in my head here, the new conforming and then the high balance limits?
Yeah, the new limit basically for high balance, it's going up from, for conforming, it's going up from $484,350 to $510,400.
510,400. That's great.
Yeah.
Right. And for high balance, it's going to go up from $726,525 to $765,600.
$765,600.
Okay, yeah.
That's
so
huge.
Who's going to benefit the most from those?
Buyers, first-time home buyers certainly who have 3% down, and they were not able to buy something, or even those with 5% down, if they were looking at homes and were not happy with what they saw, that loan limit bump gives them an opportunity to actually enter into housing market and buy what they wanted with lower down payment.
Now, and this all brings me back to our final question, which I alluded to in our previous segment, is if I'm a buyer and I'm renting right now and I'm like, I want to get into a house, do I have to have 20% down? Does my credit score have to be 780, or is there something else that you can help me with?
Preferably, but absolutely not. You can buy a home with as little as 3% down, or 5% down, or 3.5% down, and credit score does not have to be 780. I've helped plenty of people with credit scores of 640, 650. So it's a myth that has been there and it scares people, but no, absolutely not.
There's possibilities. Aram, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It will really help. This is actually really great news for future home buyers this next year. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
Next up, after the break, we're going to be speaking with Dan Gelhaye of Insurance Services Network. Dan will be sharing with us on how to prepare. Hello. Dan is going to share with us how to prepare to protect your home in the event of the big one.
Did you know when you pay rent, you're actually paying someone else's mortgage? Are you tired of missing out on owning your own home? Fact. Homeowners on average have 40 times the financial net worth of renters. The Eastside Real Estate Team has been helping many first-time home buyers find and buy their first home. They specialize in customer service and put you first. They listen first to what you're looking for, and then they take the time to make sure their clients understand every aspect of the home buying process. If owning a home has been your dream, the Eastside Real Estate Team can help you. For a free, no-hassle consultation, call 425-200-4093 or find them online at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Does doing video for your business seem overwhelming? At Flying Gecko Productions, we make it easy to produce your videos. Whether it be video blogs or a video testimonial, we broadcast your best self. Flying Gecko has been putting together compelling videos for over 12 years. Videos that convert prospects to clients. To learn more, contact Greg at Flying Gecko at 206-412-4363 or visit our website at www.flyinggecko.com.
Do you have excess body fat that you wish was gone? Not happy with what you see in the mirror? Or maybe how you feel on the inside? Do you have low energy? Gerald Benton with B3 says that can end today. The decision is yours. Gerald with B3 motivates clients through uplifting spirit and attention to detail. Gerald has a degree in kinesiology and has changed lives all over the world through fitness knowledge and motivation. To learn more about what Gerald with B3 has to offer, call 206-755-2058.
Get your daily dose of variety. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back. You're listening to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan. Our first guest today is Dan Gelhaye of Insurance Services Network. An independent agent, Dan's mission is to protect what's important to his clients, their loved ones, their assets, and their personal data. Dan achieves this by building quality relationships, education, and getting to know his clients. Dan actually partners with multiple reputable companies providing top-of-the-line auto, home insurance, pet insurance, and identity theft solution. I didn't know that one, Dan. With more than 15 years of experience protecting clients and mitigating risk, Dan has been able to save his clients money, time, and stress. Dan puts a premium on leading with integrity, world-class service, and has been recognized for best in class in customer retention. Please welcome to the show, Dan Gelhaye.
Well, thank you so much, Dan and Brian, for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, we like to, before we jump in with our business partners, we like to learn a little bit more about who we're talking to. So tell me a little bit about your hobbies and interests when you're not saving the homeowner, one household at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have a beautiful wife, and I have a 19-year-old and a 14-year-old, so those happily take up the majority of my time.
Keep you busy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, we're outdoor folks. We love to be outside, hiking, fishing. I love to exercise, and when the weather turns a little bit, I like to read.
And you're a great photographer.
And I enjoy photography. It's a big hobby.
Yeah.
So we'd like to ask each guest to share a fond memory of the home they grew up in. What do you got?
Wow. My parents were just here for Thanksgiving, and we were talking about it. They've been in their home for 42 years. And, really my fondest memory is just that consistency of that home environment that's always been there. People in our neighborhood have come and gone and passed away, unfortunately, et cetera. But, around this time of year, I just remember the house being filled with joy and people and relatives and food. And It's really been a part of my the majority of my life is knowing that home. So it's very special to me.
That's great.
That's awesome. So as we jump into today's topic, which the big one, if you didn't know, was a reference to the earthquake, an earthquake, okay? So, but before we get to the earthquake information, tell us a little bit about Insurance Services Network and the type of insurance that you offer.
Yeah, I'd be glad to. So we are a longstanding independent agency here in South Bellevue. The agency's been around for, over 35 years, and we really specialize in personalized insurance. So what does that mean? Well, it means auto, home, renters, rental property, earthquake, flood, and then all the toys, boats, motorcycles, RVs, pet insurance, and identity theft solutions.
Wow.
Pet insurance. I did
Pet
not
insurance.
know.
Pet insurance, not pest insurance.
Yeah, I know.
Pet
Right?
insurance.
depends on if it's a cat or a dog, I suppose. I'm just joking, folks. I love all animals.
There you go. Another client right here for you now. So when a buyer finances a home, they are required by the lender to buy hazard insurance. So doesn't the hazard insurance cover earthquake already?
That is a great question, and it's a common misconception. So there's two major things that standard homeowners insurance don't cover, and that's damage from an earthquake and damage from flood.
Interesting.
Two things. Wow.
And both of those products are out there.
And both those products are out there and available.
There you go.
All right. So why would somebody consider purchasing earthquake insurance?
Well, there's several reasons that someone would want to consider purchasing an earthquake policy. Typically it's the largest asset that someone owns, right? And you want to be able to indemnify yourself and be made whole again in case there is a large earthquake that causes substantial damage. The cost of earthquake repair could be significantly higher without a policy, and relying on the government to step in and assist could be a long wait. So it's very prudent for people to consider it.
So what's the expense of an earthquake policy typically?
Expense is kind of a relative
depends.
term. So it depends. What I tell people is whatever is going to make you sleep best at night, that's what you should do. What I will say is that the cost of earthquake coverage varies widely depending on, of course, the size of the home, the rebuilding costs of the home, and other factors.
Age of the home?
The age of the home a little bit. Typically, what I tell people is a very broad range. It's about the cost of an earthquake policy annually is anywhere generally between 50 to 100% of your annual homeowner premium. So if you're paying $1,200 a year for homeowners insurance, you can expect an earthquake policy to come in somewhere between $600 and $1,200.
So we were chatting before the show here about a YouTube video a series I've been watching called I-90 Rocks, as in geology. If you want to get motivated to buy earthquake insurance, just go onto YouTube and search I-90 Rocks. That'll tell you the story. So anyway,
yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, okay. So let's see.
So what does the policy cover?
Yeah.
So we offer what's called a combined single limit policy, and it really maximizes your flexibility. So what we do is we determine what the rebuilding cost of your home is in today's dollars, labor and materials. And the earthquake company that we partner with gives you times 2 that number. So an earthquake policy covers damage to the structure itself, to the home, but it also covers other structures, things that are detached, like a detached garage, a mother-in-law unit, docks, sheds.
Tree forts?
Tree forts,
Wow.
Things of that nature. Personal property, of course, and then also something called loss of use, which a lot of folks don't consider. But if you're displaced from your home because of damage, you can't stop paying on your mortgage, right? But now you have additional bills to pay, like hotel costs, dry cleaning, etc.
Right.
So an earthquake policy really covers all of those things.
So then I've heard that a deductible for earthquake insurance works differently than homeowners.
So an earthquake policy, the deductible works much different. So on your standard homeowner policy, it's pretty cut and dried. So let's say you have a homeowner policy with $1,000 deductible.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan, there's a windstorm where you live. It causes some damage to your roof, and it causes about $5,000 worth of damage. So the insurance company is going to indemnify you for $4,000 to make you whole again, less the deductible.
Mm-hmm.
With an earthquake policy, the deductible is based on a percentage of that single combined limit. Okay. So
the original $5,000.
the original, right? So for example, let's say you have an earthquake policy with a $750,000 combined limit. A 10% deductible would be $75,000.
Yeah.
So that while that's a very steep deductible, and it could be difficult to cut a check for that, you have to remember that you're really protecting yourself against a catastrophic type of a loss.
Okay. So it's pretty high deductible then. It's a percentage of the total insured.
So it's a pretty high deductible, and you don't have to come up with this money at the time of a claim. It's just deducted out of your overall settlement.
Gotcha.
Interesting. So I mentioned that series on risk. What do you know about the risk in our area here? Do you guys have to rate this somehow?
Yeah, we do. So, we live in the Pacific Northwest. So if you live in California, Oregon, Washington, there's certainly a risk for earthquake, right? The big Napa earthquake that happened in 2014, that set a little bit of a geological precedent because there hadn't been activity in that specific area in the past. And here in Washington State, there is a risk factor. I've been here for 20 years now, and shortly after I moved out, there was the big Nisqually quake in 2001, I believe, with 6.8 magnitude, caused a little over $1 billion in damage.
Wow.
We had, I want to say, a 4.5 magnitude earthquake back in July of this year. And then just recently, there was a
3.2, right?
3.2 magnitude quake centered in Falls City.
Oh, is that where it was, Falls City?
In Falls City, yeah.
I didn't even feel it.
So there is a propensity for earthquakes to happen here, of course.
So can anyone that owns a home purchase this type of coverage?
Just about anyone. So for the average homeowner with a standard wood frame home, typically it's a pretty simple process to go through. There are some exceptions, however. Condominiums are ineligible. However, most condominium complexes have a master insurance policy, which they're already covered for earthquake on that. If someone has a log home or a manufactured home or a mobile home, unfortunately, we can't write that. And interestingly enough, if someone's home has 30% or more stucco or brick veneer, it's a little bit difficult to write those as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really weird. Stucco. Who would have known?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So how can our listeners get more information on earthquake insurance or on any other type of insurance you provide?
Yeah, so I'm all about education, and they can simply call me at our office, 425-641-6334. Happy to chat with them and answer any questions I can.
We have a few more moments for this segment here, Dan. I just want to kind of drill a little deeper on the type of clients that you work with. So, we're talking about earthquake insurance, homeowner insurance, but, there's a lot of insurance brokers out there. So what are the type that you best serve?
So I really enjoy working with young families here in the Puget Sound region. I think that they have a growing need of insurance, and to partner with an insurance agent who really will be responsive to their needs proactively as they move through different stages of their life is important. And I really love working with those folks. And
how are you different than, like, we all know
what makes you so special?
The caveman, right? Like, you can call the caveman, the thousands of dollars that some of these carriers, spend on advertising, right? And then they're looking to be like the low cost provider. Full disclosure, Dan is my insurance broker, so I've been very happy with the service that he provides. But for the listeners out there, if one thing that I know about you is I get a review every year. I don't call Dan; Dan calls me. Right, that's one thing. Also, kind of reviewing. Can I adjust the coverage here, increase the coverage there? Kind of thinking of ways to save money, but to do it responsibly.
Absolutely.
I mean, where does that philosophy come from for you?
It just comes from, I think, our inherent need and desire to really maximize people's insurance position and put them in the best possible position. So if and when the day comes that they have to file a claim, there's no bad surprises.
Awesome. Cool. Any other questions, Brian?
Yeah, just one thing popped in my head. When the Nisqually quake hit, were you in the business at that time?
It was just a little bit before
I was
got
curious
into
if
the
you had
business,
claims from
actually.
that one.
Yeah.
Because I mean, my home had some damage, minor damage from that. We had a chimney that separated from the wall by an inch or two, and had an engineer come out, evaluate, had some repairs. Not enough to put in a claim, but I was just curious what you saw from that one that many of our listeners here experienced.
Yeah, I will say that I've seen estimates anywhere from $1 billion to $4 billion in damage in the region from that earthquake.
Wow.
So it was pretty substantial.
Pretty significant, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the older buildings, right, in downtown Seattle that required proper restoration. High cost on that. Dan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
All right. So after the break, we will have Pia Larson with Fingerprint Marketing, who will be sharing with us how to optimize your Google My Business listing to double website leads. Stay tuned.
Not sure if now is the right time to sell? Worried you missed the market? The Eastside Real Estate Team specializes in helping homeowners maximize their equity when selling. With our proven premier listing service, our clients have sold their homes for more money in less time than the competition. We know you have many choices when working with a real estate agent, but with the Eastside Real Estate Team, you get a team of highly qualified, experienced agents. From staging to deciding if your property is market ready for top dollar. If you're considering selling, call the Eastside Real Estate Team at 425-200-4093. Or check out our website at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Confused about your home insurance coverage? Frustrated with rising premiums? Wondering why your insurance agent never communicates with you? Dan Gelhaye with Insurance Services Network helps Washington families just like yours demystify and simplify the whole insurance process from start to finish. He works hard to tailor-make a comprehensive package based on your needs and your budget. Dan does not work for any one insurance company, but rather partners with a number of preferred, financially strong companies. This means he works for you and not the insurance carrier. Dan truly did lower all my rates and got me more coverage, and he's one of the nicest, well-mannered people on the planet, says Josie in Seattle. Dan Gelhaye with Insurance Services Network. For a no-obligation insurance review, contact him today at 425-641-6334. That's 425-641-6334. Fingerprint Marketing creates and spreads an online presence for small businesses so they stand out as the choice and not just another choice in this highly competitive digital world. Fingerprint Marketing designs and maintains websites and digital marketing that your competitors want when they grow up. For more information, visit their website at fingerprintmarketing.com. That's fingerprintmarketing.com, or contact them at 425-283-3943.
Be sure to support the sponsors of your favorite shows on Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan.
Our next guest is Pia Larson, the Chief Imagination Officer and founder of Fingerprint Marketing. Pia is helping small businesses grow online through custom WordPress websites and done-for-you digital marketing. She grew up on St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands and loved traveling, sailing, and photography. Had she wanted to stay on this island paradise forever, she could have lived a pretty happy life, but she's too curious for her own good. She needed to see more of the world. After a few more cities and some pretty crazy adventures, she landed in the Seattle area, and Washington became her home. Settling down in one place didn't tame her sense of wonder. In fact, her natural tendency to try new things only got stronger. She has always loved graphic design and has had a way with marketing. She combined these two skills to create Fingerprint Marketing. Welcome to the show, Pia.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome.
So what do you do when you're not marketing?
Oh my gosh, I'm traveling.
Yeah, well, you and Dan have something in common with photography.
Yeah.
And travel. Where do you like to travel?
Where?
Where?
So recently Thailand, Croatia, Italy. Next year would be Portugal and Panama.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
World
in my
traveler.
blood. Yeah.
World traveler, right.
So St. Croix?
St. Croix.
St. Croix.
Yeah.
Like La Croix.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
but we were first.
All right, gotcha. Now, is that in the Caribbean?
Yes, U.S. owned territory.
Gotcha. All right, just trying to get my mind. And
yeah,
it would be hard to leave that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing gets done. So
right.
Nothing. No.
LaCroix
Seriously,
time?
nothing gets done.
Like absolutely nothing
Yeah,
gets
it's
done.
island time.
So we
Island
like to
time.
ask our guests about, a memory for the house they grew up in.
Yeah. The memory that popped up into my head was when we have hurricanes.
Yeah.
We were so excited because we could take our pets inside.
Oh.
So we could never take our dogs inside unless there was a hurricane, and it was kind of exciting. So that's my memory.
That's interesting. And hang on for dear life.
Yeah.
Okay, so today's topic is how to optimize your Google My Business listing to double your website leads. First off, what is Google My Business, and how do I get my business listed?
Good question. So Google My Business is a free directory listing for your local business, whether you have a brick and mortar or not, just if you work with local customers. It shows up on Google Maps, Google Search, Google Voice Search, which most people don't realize, Google Assistant Voice Search, and the knowledge graph, which I'll get into in a minute. So it's super easy. So like I said, it's free.
Mm-hmm.
You just go to google.com/business and you start the process. You put in your address or your service area, your name, and then you can get a verification via email or phone call. You'll get a postcard in the mail with a little code that you just enter into your directory. And that's just to make sure that you're legit. You're not just, doing this. And then you have your own listing. So I'm passionate about Google My Business because it literally can double your business with little tweaks. I mean, it's free too.
We're going to try this in real time. Okay, Google, find the Eastside Real Estate team. For the listeners.
Eastside Real Estate team. Here you go.
So there's
you
our
go.
Google My Business. Just came up on my phone.
Bam.
Bam.
Somebody else's phone.
That's my phone
That's
too.
pretty cool.
Thanks, Google.
So that's something that's free, that any business, any individual, I thought about saying Google Dan Edwards Realtor, the same thing. I've got one for each.
Yeah,
So,
and the other
nice.
thing that I want to say about Google My Business is that most people don't see it as a social media platform, and it really is a social media platform.
Wait,
and if you
what?
think about it that way, it's so much easier to market on it.
So what are the benefits of having it then?
Oh my gosh, I have a list. So you get found in search results more easily. You also have content that you can promote on there and get more leads to your website. You can show your expertise. You can actually create digital FAQs. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, wow.
On there. So, so if you've ever read the book, They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan.
I have not.
It's an excellent book. And basically, the way to win online is to talk about all the questions that your typical prospect has and answer them fully and in depth. And a Google My Business listing has that option to answer it. Because
there we go.
We're all consumers, right? And we know that we're going to do 99% of our due diligence first before we even pick up the phone. So
That's
this
true.
helps. Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So what is a Google Knowledge Graph?
So we all have a branded presence. That just means if I go to Google and I type in Fingerprint Marketing, that's called a branded. So if you know about the business and you're typing the name in, that's a branded search. So what happens is when you type that business name in, on the right-hand side of the search results on Google, you get the whole page, the whole half a page.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a huge real estate.
For specifically a name.
Specifically for a name. And you get that whole right-hand side.
And that's what the knowledge graph is called?
Yeah, that's called the knowledge graph. And essentially, it's created because 50% of searchers don't actually go to your website. They just want information right away.
Yeah.
And Google, the search results, the search page is starting to show results.
And they'll call from it.
They'll call from it.
Hmm.
They'll get the information like directions or address or products, services, prices. It's all on the first page when they search.
So, so it sounds like there's a lot of things it can do. What are like the top 5 that when somebody has it? What should they do on their Google My Business listing?
So the first thing is the basic, just optimize. So what I mean is once you get your directory listing, log in. You'll have a dashboard. On the left-hand side, you'll see the word info.
Mm-hmm.
Go into info and then go from top to bottom and fill everything in. There's the address. There's the service areas if you don't have
They have a
brick and mortar.
progress bar, right?
Yeah, a progress bar, exactly.
To get to 100%.
Upload photos. It's been said that if you put 5 or more photos, you'll get 35% more clicks
Oh, wow.
to your website. So photos are really important. Add video. You can add video. It has to be under 30 seconds and under 100 megabytes. But video gets shown right away. You can showcase your reviews. So if you have Google reviews, it'll pop up there. So it's like a mini website, really.
Wow,
It's pretty good.
Yeah. The other thing I'd recommend is to publish content on it on a weekly basis. You can have it up for 7 days, and then they'll take it down. You can publish a blog on there. You can publish an event, a special deal,
A radio show.
a podcast.
Yeah.
If you have an event that's coming up, like a webinar, that actually doesn't get taken down at all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So did I hear you say that business doesn't have to have bricks and mortar and they can still be on Google?
Correct. You just outline your service area.
Interesting.
Yeah. And can I add something about that?
Please do.
So if you don't have a brick and mortar, and let's say you're a plumber or you're out and about and you're servicing clients in the field, if you take a picture and then tag it with that location and put it on your Google My Business, you now have more search capabilities in that area.
Tagging it
with the location. It kind of grows your service area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would also restrict it, like if you wanted to make sure you only worked in certain areas.
Correct. Yep.
Cool. Oh, it's me. I'm sorry.
It's your turn.
Pay attention. He's sleeping.
This is so interesting. No, I'm just
I
joking.
wonder how many phones you activated with your.
I'm
not going to repeat it.
That's
to our
funny.
listeners.
Well,
Yeah.
my search results just went up. That's funny. That's funny.
Oh.
Okay, so can random people really make changes to my Google business listing?
They can. So there's a suggest and edit hyperlink on your listing. So if you don't fill out your listing properly, people will offer to edit it, which you want to make sure they're doing it correctly.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just want to watch what people are suggesting, because if there's nothing happens, Google will automatically take that suggestion within 7 days.
I have middle schoolers that I mentor at our local church, and they were trying to figure out a way to review me online. I was like, please don't. so hope they're not listening.
So how can I use content marketing to get more leads on my listing?
So content marketing includes anything in any format, like video, radio, writing, that will answer questions, like I said, to your clients, and put you as the expert. So posting once a week, adding videos, adding photos, more importantly. So photos, you can do your team, you can do clients, you can do all sorts of stuff.
Interesting. So content ideas. So we talked about a few, but what are some more, like I always think in real estate, I'm thinking inside, right? Like what I want to know. And I would love any listeners, you're welcome to email us or reach out to us. What do you guys want to see? What's interesting?
Are you talking about real estate in general or
Content
just content-wise?
Yeah.
I'm going to put video at the top, because video is going to get you more search results, and it's more human, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've done business to business. Now it's really human to human.
So our other guest, Dan, what would he put on there that would engage potential customers?
Well, I don't know about you, but I think when I think of insurance, I think of like I need safety, I need security, right? I need to make sure that you've got my back. So what are some of the things that are keeping me up at night? Like, what if the big one hits, right? Or what if I get into an accident with, a non-insured driver, like that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So what are the questions that people are already asking in their head? And that would be one. And then the other one is, what could they have concerns about in 2020? So what's coming down the pike? Because, we all have our own bubble of what we know and what's on our radar. But it's horrible when, something comes down, whether it's, a new law or whatever it is, you need to be there for them to say, hey, check this out. You need to pay attention.
Yeah. And Pia, I would say I always try to go in there and type in, what if blank, 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 right? Into Google. Yeah. And you'll see all the different things that come in. Yeah. And I think answer those questions. And it'll rank it by the level of question. I think one of our most recent ones is, where are the best places to live on the east side?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a very common question. So we did a segment here on it. And because we understand that if we can get found, any business, if they can get found based on what it is they're passionate about, it's a perfect match.
Yeah. And if you haven't used Google Trends before, that's really awesome. It shows you what people are searching for.
That is fun. You can get lost in that place.
Oh, I know.
So cool.
It's like crack.
For marketers, it's crack for marketers.
Oh, that's funny. Pia, how important are reviews on my listing, and how can I grow them?
So I'll tell you a little story. So I'm in a very competitive market in digital marketing. So, and in Seattle. So I always ask, why did you decide to work with us or choose us or pick up the phone and call us? Because there's so many other bigger agencies out there. And they said, well, none of them have 95-star reviews. Not even a handful have reviews online.
Interesting.
And so reviews are trusted just like your recommendations from your family and friends. So they're super important. The second part of that is that they actually show up in search. So
the content of the reviews.
The content of the reviews, the 5-star, and the number that you have.
That's great. All right. So lastly, we have just about 2 minutes here. What are some ninja tips? Ninja tips to blow up the online listing and get the phone ringing off the hook.
So this is kind of a fun one that's kind of quirky. So you can post something with an emoji. So like, let's say you're a burger joint, you can put the burger emoji and then let's say Bellevue. And then when that gets published, people can actually search on Twitter and Instagram via emoji and your listing will come up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So people are searching by emojis now?
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter and son, we were having a text conversation today, and it ended with, okay, boomer. And I was like, you don't understand. I'm not a boomer.
You're not a boomer. You're Gen X, right?
I know, but I don't think that they understood
You're
that
just
point.
Old, Dan.
Because they're just too young to get it. I think that's the point that they were trying to make.
Yeah.
I'm the boomer.
So, yeah, Brian's a boomer.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah. And then the second hack I would recommend is adding a booking link. So a link that will go to your calendar. It'll go to your e-newsletter that you want people to sign up for.
Yeah.
I've done Calendly, right? Is that what it's called?
That's what I have. Yep.
So you put a booking link. So if people want to set an appointment
schedule
for
an appointment,
a cup of coffee about talking real estate.
Well,
cool.
Yeah, so please, Pia, tell our listeners how they can reach you.
Sure. So my name and number is on the bathroom wall. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that kind of show. Fingerprintmarketing.com. There is a schedule link in the upper right-hand corner. You can schedule some free consultation. And you can also call me directly at 425-283-3943.
Hey, if you run a business, call Pia.
That's
Any
right.
business.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on the show today, Pia.
Thanks for having me.
Remember that this and other segments of our show are available to watch at our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Eastside Real Estate Team. If you're interested in learning more from these or future guests, join us after the break for some final thoughts and something fun to do for the holiday. We'll be right back.
Did you know when you pay rent, you're actually paying someone else's mortgage? Are you tired of missing out on owning your own home? Fact. Homeowners on average have 40 times the financial net worth of renters. The Eastside Real Estate Team has been helping many first-time home buyers find and buy their first home. They specialize in customer service and put you first. They listen first to what you're looking for, and then they take the time to make sure their clients understand every aspect of the home buying process. If owning a home has been your dream, the Eastside Real Estate Team can help you. For a free, no-hassle consultation, call 425-200-4093 or find them online at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Confused about your home insurance coverage? Frustrated with rising premiums? Wondering why your insurance agent never communicates with you? Dan Gelhaye with Insurance Services Network helps Washington families just like yours demystify and simplify the whole insurance process from start to finish. He works hard to tailor-make a comprehensive package based on your needs and your budget. Dan does not work for any one insurance company, but rather partners with a number of preferred financially strong companies. This means he works for you and not the insurance carrier. Dan truly did lower all my rates and got me more coverage, and he's one of the nicest, well-mannered people on the planet, says Josie in Seattle. Dan Gelhaye with Insurance Services Network. For a no-obligation insurance review, contact him today at 425-641-6334. That's 425-641-6334. Fingerprint Marketing creates and spreads an online presence for small businesses so they stand out as the choice and not just another choice in this highly competitive digital world. Fingerprint Marketing designs and maintains websites and digital marketing that your competitors want when they grow up. For more information, visit their website at fingerprintmarketing.com. That's fingerprintmarketing.com, or contact them at 425-283-3943.
No other station delivers this much variety. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Brian and Dan. I'm Dan.
Hi, Brian.
I just thought about throwing that in there. Well, so we're right deep in the holiday season, and one of the great things that I like to do with my family is go to one of those U-cut Christmas tree farms, and I have a really funny story. So one year we were bringing in the Christmas tree, and it was amazing because we were out looking at Trinity Tree Farm in Issaquah, if those of you have gone there. And this one tree is on the hill all by itself, and we're like, that's it. That's the one, you know? So we cut it down and bring it inside, and we bring it inside, and as we're coming inside, no squirrel. There's a beehive in it.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. And I'm like,
my.
Wait. And I grab it,
out,
and
so
the whole family
hibernating.
freaks out, you know, and I grab the tree, and I run out the front door, and I throw it out in the, you know, in the bushes or whatever.
No.
So that was hilarious because, you know, now every year, whenever we go to the farm and whenever we're bringing out a tree, make sure there's no beehive in it, Dad.
Funny.
So funny. But if you, if that's something you like to do, or you're new to the area and you want to know where to go, we just completed a blog post on our website. Just go to the eastsiderealestateteam.com/blog and look at the post about U-cut Christmas trees. And we have a whole list of Eastside locations where you can go, take the family, pick out your own Christmas tree, make sure there are no beehives in it, no squirrels, no rodents of any kind, and bring it in. It's an awesome family tradition. So now, Brian, it's time for your final thought.
Yeah, I was just thinking about our intro. We're talking about buying a home, and I think especially, I mean, this applies to everybody, but first-time buyers. Dan and I take a very unique approach to our serving buyers, that we do not sell anyone a home. We find a home that our buyers want to buy. And so it's very relationship driven, and that starts with an in-depth interview to really understand what would be the very best for our clients.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put out there that we would be delighted to meet with you and sit down, understand your needs, give you guidance on every aspect, financing. You're looking at, we mentioned the tax components. We can sit down and go through all of those things and help you make a decision. And if it's the right time, help you find a home that you would want to buy.
Yeah, and it's all about preparedness, right? It's about being able to sit in the moment and say, okay, this is the right time, but you can't do that if you don't do the financing part, if you don't get a pre-approval letter,
right?
If you don't kind of think through. Right now, we're probably at the lowest point of inventory that we've been for the year. And that means that in January is when things are going to pick up again. And if you wait until then to be ready, well, now you're already behind. So why not take the time now Get yourself
going now.
Get a clear idea of your goals and your needs and your wants, and let us be your advocates to help guide you in that way.
We would be delighted to do so.
Yeah.
So that concludes our show for this week. I want to especially thank our guests, Daniel and and Pia, for taking the time to speak with us. It was a great show. Thank you all for listening. And before I go, I found a quote I'd like to share. It takes hands to build a house, but only hearts can build a home. Until next week. Thanks for listening.